It was my own fault. I was late. uh, all right. So none of the regulars are here this morning. So let's throw the link in the chat. Anybody brave enough to join me and talk about sales? All right, Mr. Wrist Tie, come on. I see you in the chat. Since we blew up your channel, you might as well come play on mine. So if y'all are not following Silver Hair Stacker, Todd does a morning show 3 or 4 days a week, except for this week. His July 4th show, there were several of us on his show. We were talking the stuff I used to talk about. And yeah, they came this week and said, "You're banned." They gave him a week off to think about who he associates with. Us terrible people. Us conspiracy theorists that sometimes, 99% of the time speak the truth. Most people just don't. According to a movie I watched years ago, you can't handle the truth. Yeah, so how's that going for you? So today we're going to talk about the death of your sales. What are you doing about it? Contrary to popular belief, the gnashing of teeth, the moaning, the groaning, you actually can do something about it. And you can, if you're not proactively trying to fix your sales and doing your part. Yes, I'll show you what you need. If you're not doing your part, you need one of these. And it doesn't matter what brand. This one just happens to be a Uniball. So you can fill out some applications. So yeah, that's because it's, like it or not, it's part of your job to understand what's going on in the world. Hey, good morning, Jim and Tara. So it was probably me and Jim that got I don't even know who was on that 4 show. It was probably me and Jim that got Todd banned. Ooh, Brenda, are you still down in South Alabama? Yeah, tornado watches are. I don't think we have anything here. It's in effect at 11 o'clock this morning. You're in. So if you're watching this from South Alabama, make sure you know what is going on, because it looks like it's the bottom part of Mobile all the way over to Dothan, the bottom itty bitty part of the state. Brenda says she had 1 touchdown nearby. That is one of the. Good morning, Wrist.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to welcome to the show the man with the sexiest hand ever. There we go.
So if you ever have a morning show and you invite anybody, that's all right.
Yeah, you should probably look at some of the other ones where we talk crazy and go ahead and wipe them out. All right, and just look at them too, because I know a lot of you're probably like mine. Once a live show gets past a couple of weeks, nobody ever goes back and looks at it. So you're much better off to delete. I took down a lot of mine just because I knew that I'd get in trouble eventually. So, but this is.
Yeah, I'll probably take down all of my lives for the last year.
I'm reformed now, though. You don't have to take down yesterday. We were on top. We were on Tom's channel yesterday. We were good yesterday.
Yeah.
If I pass out in the show, y'all will realize that it's my body reacting to the fact that I'm drinking water. But so your sales been pretty strong, Todd?
You know what? My sales are almost exactly what they have been the last 3 or 4 years. Only problem is for me is inflation has gone up, so the same money I'm making is not worth as much.
And I'm just, yeah, well, both of I'm hoping that they will fix this fake news and this misinformation, because at no point in anywhere is the your elected politicians have filled you a bill of goods on what misinformation is. It is not their job to misinformation. Just because they want to force something on you and force you to think away does not mean they have that right. They cannot take away your First Amendment rights. And before anybody goes and says, "Oh, but these are independent platforms," I mean, I don't. Okay, so understand me. Everybody knows that I lean right. That's not a secret. But what happens to one side will happen to the other. I promise you, folks. It's just a matter of time before they're after you, and you'll be sitting back going, "But I thought we could do this." It's not the government. And before you say these independent platforms, oh, they have the right to police their platforms if they want to decide it's misinformation. The problem is most of them consult regularly with the government to find out what they want it to be as misinformation, left or right, and what they don't want talked about. And so the government is using the platforms to quell free speech. And that's what the problem is. And that's why there are these major violations. Because
Yep.
there's no way that Twitter should. I mean, look at what we're finding out with Twitter. They were in direct consult with the White House on who to ban and what ideas. The FBI came before the election and said, this is we have determined that this is Russian information. You might want to do something about it. And what does the platform do? Bans anybody who talks about it. Takes and shadow bans it and crushes it. And what happened? It turned out to be true. And so now the government of the party in charge has banned free speech in order to get a desired outcome. It's just, I mean, I don't care which side you're on, left or right. Go read the Constitution. They have this is not their purview. The Constitution only gives the government like three things to do: regulate trade, the borders, and our security, our national defense. That's it. Go read it. I challenge you to read it. So sales. What can you do about sales? The first thing I'm going to tell you about sales is the economy is tough. The economy is absolutely tough right now, and in an environment, so everybody is quick to blame the economy. I can't. My sales are down because of the economy. My sales are down because of this. I got a cold dose of this right here, a cold dose of water to throw at you. Your sales are down because you have not reacted and done your part to react to the changing environments of a bad economy. I sell used items for the most part, and my sales are up. I've told y'all for a year, used items are going to become a thing because people are not going to have the money when it's costing. We went to the grocery store the other day, so I went with Joni. I don't know what we were doing, but we went to Costco. 18 eggs at Costco were $6.25 or something like that. $6.25. They're up 2.5 times.
Crazy.
I couldn't believe the prices. And Johnny's like, well, we'll just get a dozen. We don't really need that many. We'll just get a dozen at Publix. A dozen at Publix was the same price. Holy crap. You got to have big money to shop at Publix. Prices are up. I mean, if you're eating your regular food, anything you're doing, gas is up. Gas here has actually come down a little bit. Gas here is $2.90 a gallon. It's probably a little less there with Utah because y'all make all that gas.
Yeah, it was $2.58 in Killeen 3 days ago.
So start thinking about what's some of the number one, your product mix. What are you selling? What are you selling? Are you selling collectibles? You're probably getting destroyed right now, because I can tell you the first thing, whenever people money starts getting tight and they evaluate what they need. Do I need a $6 dozen of eggs, or do I need this? Do I have anything collectible right here? Not really. Or do I need this retired? This actually retired box of Legos that you can buy on Amazon for $27. They're not going to buy the Legos, folks. They're going to buy the food. They're going to buy. My cell phone just broke. Do I need a $1,500 iPhone, or do I just go ahead and lay out $200 for a used iPhone, use Android, use whatever? It is used items are going to be tremendous. I'm telling you. Land Shark, it is sad that $2.99 we think is a good price for gas. That is correct. Yeah, start looking at the price of everything. Go look at the price of bread, eggs, just the straight commodities that you buy at a grocery store, and realize how much. And don't forget so most of you guys know I'm a big fan of Shaquille O'Neal. I love Shaq. I think he is an outstanding person. Look at his commercial. I was shocked that they let him do it. That he started talking about shrinkflation on a national TV commercial, so he could do his Shaq Nation or Shaq whatever pizza. He was making a play on words. But so, did y'all see the picture of my Christmas tree? All right, so I've got it charging. I know y'all. The Zilke family decorated a house. So I put up the Christmas tree, and then I ate it. So this is a good example. This is a little Debbie Christmas tree cake. Johnny and I were talking about it. I'm like, these crazy things are $2.59 a box at Walmart. They used to be 2 years ago. Those were $1.19 a box. So you think, it's more than doubled in the last 3 years. And then you can't stop there. There used to be 6 of them in the box. There are now 5 of them in the box. Farside Jack, I'm telling you, you need to be selling what people need. Used clothing should be doing well right now. So the one thing I would tell you, if you're not succeeding and you're selling, a lot of sellers do, you start with used clothes. A lot of clothing sellers, there are people. You want some sticker shock? Go look at what the price of clothes is right now. I mean, I shop at yard sale, so it doesn't bother me as much. But it is insane, the prices of items, and so I'm telling you to look at what you sell. Look at and understand that people. Okay, so Franklin is a great example. The crazy little whack dog. I don't know where he is running around here. We got a 5-month-old. That family a couple weeks ago decided that because of their financial situation and her losing her job, that it was more important for them to provide Christmas and have a little bit of stuff for the children than it was to have the new puppy. And so we adopted him from them. He's all teeth, by the way. Franklin, you almost died. He almost died yesterday. I'm sitting in the living room, and he goes right up on the couch and pees on me. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely terrible. And he peed in here too yesterday, which is that. I'm like, really? Victoria was saying, I could not believe the price of the eggs. That really was an eye opener for me, because I generally my idea of grocery shopping is Joni gives me a list on the phone. I use any list. She makes the list out, and then I go get it. On Mondays, on my way back from the auction, she has a pickup order They put it in the back of the van. I don't know what the prices are because she's already paid for it. So I haven't paid a lot of attention to and it's amazing the price of sticker shock on a lot. But the shrinkflation part is you're only getting 5 of those crystal cake. Bags of chips. I would challenge. I wish I had some pictures. I bet over the last couple of years, you're getting less and less chips per bag. Those. I pick up a bag and it says it's a family size. And I'm like, it used to be way bigger than this. Did families shrink? I mean, another good example was a few years ago, a can of Pringles. You could count on them being $1 a can. They are $2 a can now. They are, that because I know that was one because I used to buy Pringles a lot because you can put a lid on the can and they didn't go stale. How many people do the roll on a chip bag and it always opens and you never eat the bottom because it's a mess. So Kelly said even the dryer balance sheets are thinner. So what I'm telling you is, pay attention to okay, so now pricing. Are your prices competitive? Just because prices of everything are going up, customers, if they're on eBay, Amazon, whatever they're looking at, they're examining prices more than ever. So you don't have to bottom out, but are you competitive? Are you looking to see, are you using the tools that are available to understand? Are you looking at solds on eBay to figure out where the item is? So if you've got an item that's listed so it's happened to everybody. You go in the store, you look at an item and go, well, damn, this thing is listed for $90. And then you go look at it and you go, well, it's selling for $20. eBay right now is terribly bad about that. eBay is allowing these people with sponsored listings. And I've ranted on this before. And so they're the first one you see, and you look up an item and go, this thing's worth $100. And their business model is they're going to pay you the extra. They're going to pay the extra fee for promoted listings to be the first one you see, and hopefully somebody will click on that very first one because they see what they're looking for. And they're usually double the price. I can't be the only one that's seen that. They're calling you the silver hair egg stacker now. So it is.
I was hungry this morning.
So are your prices? Are you checking Keepa? Are you where they're selling? Are you where the prices are selling versus just listed crazy high? Are you using a repricer? 3 weeks ago, I had not repriced any of my items in quite a while. I'm ashamed to say, as an Aura affiliate, which if you need a repricer for Amazon Aura, there's a discount link in the chat in the description below. I highly recommend. I've been using them for 3 or 4 years. It's amazing. When I actually put them all on the repricer, I sold absolute tons of them. And I got to do the same thing today. I've got a bunch of stuff listed in the last week, 1 box sent in, and a bunch of stuff I listed the last 3 days that all need to be repriced. So are you doing your part for prices, which means are you using the tools available? eBay has been stoned. See, I've had to log home. I've had the exact opposite. The things that I've been listing have been selling. I sold a Toshiba receiver last Wednesday. I've sold a cool airsoft rifle. I got $340 something for that airsoft rifle. It looked like an AR. It was heavy like an AR. I've sold quite. I'm up 189% on eBay right now. But I'm selling a lot of toys over there. That this is the time of the year. This is the time of the year for those kind of things. Do you have things that people want right now? One of the things I will say, how many sales platforms do you use? Do you have how many avenues? I have eBay, Amazon, and the local auction. So I have multiple ways of selling things. If you're not using multiple platforms and that's something that interests you, I would check out services like List Perfectly. They will, with little effort, they will put your items on multiple platforms as long as you've got accounts on. James, that statement, he says, I'm glad others are doing well. There are plenty of people who are not. It's not because they are not trying. It's because they don't understand this business. I'm telling you right now, I went to Walmart. I was on the phone with Dave. Dave's probably asleep right now. I was on the phone with Dave as I went to Walmart's the last 2 nights and picked up, a couple items that I've sold for years and years and years. They've always been good. They're good no matter what. And I'm selling them at 3 or 4 times retail. I sold so many the first day, I had to go back last night and buy more, or night before last and buy more. They're just toys. They're just simple toys. Nothing special about them. They're not the hot toy. They're just a consistent seller. I'm telling you, if they look at all the things I'm talking about, are you using ads? Amazon right now in their news section, it talks about optimizing ads, and they have a new ad seminar and new videos out to teach you how to use ads. I don't know how to do ads on Amazon. It's confusing to me. Well, then that's be part of your fault. That would not be if you're not doing these things on items that are, you got items that are slow moving and you want to help drive some traffic to it, but you're not using the tools available. You're just sitting around going, well, damn, sales suck. I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's the reseller, James. That they'll tell you they're trying. It drives me nuts that if somebody go, I got 3,000 listings on eBay and I'm not selling anything. I look at that and go, holy crap. How can you have so much on there and not be selling? There is something wrong with you. You have got your prices too high. You've got too many of the wrong things, slow sellers. You don't have a good mix of fast and slow. So many people go, I've got 5,000 listings on eBay. I don't know what the problem is. You got to stop accepting that excuse. I know what the problem is. The problem is you. No, nobody wants to hear this. Oh, but it's a bad political climate. The problem is you. I mean, am I the cold dose of reality and water today that you needed to understand that? The one thing that holds me back on eBay, I can tell you 100% what holds me back on eBay. You're looking at him. I don't list enough. So I've got a list here on the bottom screen that I'm reading on. If you wonder what I'm looking at down here. So what am I doing about eBay? Jacob's listed on eBay. Tom, if you want to come give your 2 cents, or anybody's welcome. Come and tell me I'm wrong. Come and tell me what you're doing, and I'm an idiot. I'd be more happy to listen. Harlan's in the chat right now. Everybody needs a friend like Harlan. Harlan last night, we're talking about, I don't know what we're talking about. Harlan's like, I really want to figure out and set some time apart in the evenings, which I don't do anything in the evenings. I'm the worst person in the world in the evenings because I'll watch a few videos and I'll be asleep in the recliner. Last night when I woke up, it was me and both dogs in the recliner asleep, watching, and some video was playing that was like not even one I ever even started. He's like, I want to spend a couple hours each evening listening on eBay. I really want to up my eBay game. And I'm sitting here thinking, he's like, are you interested? And I'm like, yeah, because I want to up my eBay game too. So I can tell you what's going to happen. I'll be out in the building and we'll have a private chat going, like a video chat like this, but it'll just be me and Harlan and maybe 1 or 2 other people that join. And it'll be encouraging as we work. John used to talk about this a lot. We used to do this a whole lot. Find somebody, even though we live in the same city, we're not in the same, 8 miles might as well be a million miles. But across the internet, it's the same as anywhere. So the challenge is starting on the first a couple hours every night, listen on eBay. I got 3 storage buildings plus my building full of stuff. I'm telling you, I've got plenty to list on eBay. Um, Larry, I tell you what, Dusty was he was finally with postcards. He was finally where he had worked a system that was perfect, absolutely perfect for him. I've been on enough live shows with him through the last 5-8 years. He'd be telling you the same thing. He'd be figuring out what he would be. These are the 2 dogs. Y'all, can you hear them?
Yeah.
That's what they do all day. Chase each other around all day. One of them's biting at the other one, and now they just went off into the living room. He'd be trying to figure out he'd be telling you, are you promoting your listings? If you're an eBay seller and you're not using promoted listings, you are falling behind. I'm telling you right now, you can bitch, complain, and moan about eBay. They just want more money. You're gonna have to pay to play. It is absolutely amazing that if you will spend some time understanding promoted listings, because when Dusty was alive and he was doing eBay, you were competing with someone like him who restarted his promoted listings every day. He got an advantage over you in search every single day. He evaluated what his listings were, and he never let listings go more than 10 days. So he always had the new listing bump. I'm telling you, the competition is fierce out there. And are you playing? Are you understanding the game right now? You know, how many of your listings are dead listings? How many, if you've got 3,000 listings, how many of them have been up more than a year?
A bunch.
Todd, I'm not. You're a different animal. I'm not. I know yours are, but I know how you buy auction and you buy tons of stuff, and I get it. I understand why, but it's, my sale. I have barely over 200 listings, and my sales are up with 180%. I've sold right at $4,000 in the last 31 days on eBay. It's not tremendous, but that's my side gig, folks. I'm about to double that before Christmas. I hope that my goal is to double my eBay sales by Christmas. So he says I end and sell similar every month. You've got to have a system, James, and I commend you for having a system. That it's what it takes. Have you structured out your business to where you're consistently looking at your prices? You're consistently. Amazon's a little easier because I've got a repricer. I just need to check on the repricer because the repricer is battling for current price on Amazon. But on eBay, it's a little more difficult. And eBay sellers, are you using all these things? Do you have a system in place to check all this stuff? One thing Amazon sellers love to do, especially if you're a new Amazon seller, they want to go straight to the clearance. They don't understand that you can buy an item full price and sell it and make a profit online. And so I got news for you folks. If your entire store is full of clearance, it's clearance for a reason. It's absolutely clearance for a reason. Walmart, one of the largest retailers in the country and in the world, could not sell it. They decided, you know what, I'd rather be done with it and try something else than this piece than what you just bought from them at a discounted price. Have you ever thought of it? And if you're expecting, you have tools that can tell you whether it's an in-demand product and it's just bad distribution, or if you're just buying a bad product. So understand, if you're a clearance buyer, are all your products out of season? I understand that shorts. You can there's somewhere in the world or somewhere in the country that shorts right now are people are buying that kind of clothes because Dave lives in the land of California where it doesn't ever get. But in Alabama this morning, I got up and it was 61 degrees. That was the high for the day. It's going into the 40s by lunch. It is so frustrating that people sit around and and accept the fact that things are bad and don't do anything about it. It absolutely frustrates me, and it makes it. You know, are you doing a sales challenge? You know, I've told you for years and years. You know, find. If I shut the door, they'll sit at the door and bark. So I'm sorry about them. They're now in Jacob's room. You know, find 5 people around you. You need somebody who's above you, somebody who's below you, and a couple that are the same level, and then run a sales challenge. You know how many listings can I get done today? You know, evaluate your. Now Phoebe is trying to keep up with him who's got the zoomies right now, and he's running from room to room. Lord have mercy. Challenge each other to list, if you're listing 10 items a day, well, list 20. And then evaluate these listings to make sure that you're listing items correctly. Did you go find that ice cream for Roberta yesterday?
No. I ended up getting her Chick-fil-A.
All right. Well, I guess I'd like some Chick-fil-A about right now. Quit being so bad. The dogs are currently being bad.
My cats are too.
Jabe Aspires. That is a wonderful comp. Dusty was competing against massive sellers, people with hundreds of thousands of listings, in some cases on post, and he figured out a way to do it. You know, if y'all have all met Mark. Mark sells postcards. He's in here a lot. SMP postcards. You know, he's got tons and tons of listings, and he's figured out a way to make money on postcard. He's the low cost, $4.95, $5.50 now, whatever it is. He's adjusted his price a little bit based on the price of postage and stuff. You know, somebody who's well organized, has a system, and does listing, and goodbye, Tom, and sells against these big sellers and gets their sales in because of his pricing. The one thing I would ask you is look at the things you are selling. Look at your items that are struggling. You know, do you have titles that have got keywords in them? You know, do you have good descriptions? I can't tell you how many times that I look at something and there's no description of the item. No description of the item. You know, it'll have a little condition note, but in the description, I generally, if you don't have enough to give me a little bit of information, I generally won't buy from that person. I can't be the only one. You know, if I'm looking for an item and all I see is unless it's a DVD or something to that effect, if I don't see the actual picture, I don't buy from you. You know, and I'm someone who buys. I'm waiting on 8 or 10 packages right now to come. I buy a lot online because I'm not a people person. I told you that. I'm not a people person. I don't go out. I don't talk to people. And I'd rather not go to, except for yard sales. For some reason, all that changed at yard sales. But, and I am missing I am missing my yard sales. All right, Tom's back. Woo, I thought we ran him off. We made him mad.
No, it's been storming here all night. Hard raining.
It came through here yesterday afternoon. We were eating wings, and by the time we left, the rain was going sideways. We're like, I guess we're gonna hang out for a few minutes.
So our internet's been coming and going.
So I've told you to have friends that do reselling. Have somebody look at your account. You know, maybe you've looked at these things for so long, and you want somebody to say, "Hey, Steve, could you do me a favor and take 10 minutes and just look over my account, see if there's something I'm missing, see if there's something, have somebody have." I've got all these things written down. Discounts on eBay and volume. You know, if you've got an item that you've got more than one, are you using their volume discounts to have an item? Jim's keywords are rare and look. So that's a good point, Jim. You know, most people waste space on their listings with all these little. If it's used by a reseller, we don't search that way. Understand that a customer does not search the same way you do. They don't want to see the word. They don't search for the word rare. They don't search for look. They don't search for was it excellent use condition, EUC, and all these other little things y'all stick in your titles. Customers have no idea what this stuff means. They have no clue. And so you're wasting space, time, and you're looking at it and go, that's a good one right there. It's not a good one. It just isn't. And it's not set up for Google search. So Google's not going to pick up your listings.
If I have to do too much, if I search for something on eBay, which their search engine sucks anyway, but if I search for something on eBay, the title better have what it's, it better be about as precise as can be, because if I'm looking for a widget and it doesn't say widget in the title, I'm out of there. I've moved on to the next thing, the next listing. There's just too many people up there that have the same item, and I don't necessarily look at the lowest price.
So if you can get somebody to buy two of an item instead of one of an item, and you've got to give them 10% off to buy the second one, you've won. Do y'all not understand that? You've won. And most of the people who watch this show, I'm speaking to the choir for the most part, but and hopefully there'll be some new people that, I didn't scare them off by telling them the economy is going to hell and, the government is against us. Hopefully I didn't scare them off for that. Trying to be the nicer, kindler beard. But so are you paying attention to Amazon news? So one of the first thing, or one of the top things on my Amazon news this morning, tips for the holiday season. Amazon has a list of stuff that they tell you they think that's what it's important. And if you can look at it and go, well, man, I'm understanding if your sales are down on Amazon and the platform is telling you this is what they think makes your sales better and can help you sell more things, and they're the ones that design the search engine and the algorithms and everything else, you might want to pay attention to them. You might want to at least read over them to familiarize yourself to understand. That's where they're talking about making optimized listings and using ads and doing this thing. Don't forget, Amazon is one of the largest data companies in the world, just like Google. They run analytics. They go back and watch the film with Jeff Bezos. Somebody in the chat tell me what it is. They track where you move your cursor on the screen when you're on their site. They know what you're looking at and what part of the page you're looking at. So they understand how the consumer's minds works on their platform. And so if the platform like an Amazon is telling you might want to do this, you might want to listen. It's just, I know I'm just crazy and just throwing stuff at you, but a great man once said, what do you have to lose? A great man in Missouri, Mr. Sadie, said, what do you have to lose? But they probably the rest of the country said lose. Gotcha. It's so here's a crazy one in the news on Amazon, which I thought was absolutely just insane. California is now restricting and going to outlaw fur products. Do these idiots in charge of that state understand how that state was founded? And I understand there were gold rush and stuff, but before the gold rush, fur traders and everything else, and what made this country and a lot of the people come west, and a lot of the Northwest and the fur traders, and now we're so uppity that we're going to ban this kind of stuff. It never ceases to amaze me.
And half of those women wear fur coats. They don't wear fake fur. They wear real fur. Those actresses and rich people out there. And
so if you're not paying attention to, there's news on the referral fees. That's exactly what I thought. Amazon says that they are going, the fuel surcharge is going away. So you would think that would be in February 23rd or something, the fuel surcharge is going away. But they have determined that the increased pressure on their bottom line is not not going away because of the price of fuel still being up. So they are putting a permanent raise into the price of FBA to cover that. So don't worry. They're not going to charge you the surcharge anymore. They're just going to hit you with it on FBA referrals. Understand how the fees are changing. They're also, we talked about IPI a lot on this show about your inventory. If you're not looking at your IPI numbers on Amazon and understanding your inventory turn, how much your inventory, what the turn numbers are, and what stale inventory is, and how much inventory do you have from 0 to 90 days, 90 to 180. Amazon is now going to start charging you for more in your storage for items that are over 180 days old. It's starting next year, folks. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you that the more they start looking at this stuff, the more they're going to penalize the people that just have stuff just sitting there. It only makes sense that they want inventory that turns to their warehouses. Stuff just sitting there taking up space, costing them money. It's like clearance at a Walmart. They want stuff in Walmart to move. If it doesn't move, they will force it to move. And so by increasing the fees on you guys, that's their way of forcing them. Pay attention to the news and understand what's happening. That's why I asked you, what products are you selling? Do you use these tools that these platforms tell you? Amazon's easy. It'll give you the age of your inventory, and you can understand how long it's been listed. And for the most part, they don't care anything about FBM. If you'll store it at your house, they don't care if you store it for the next 10 years. They're not going to charge you any extra. They could care less. It's all FBA storage. And so, you got to determine if you've got a one-off item that you think will do well, but you think it might take 6 months to sell. Why would you ever send it to an Amazon warehouse and pay 6 months of storage on something that now they're going to charge you extra for the next 3?
Can you put your Amazon store on vacation if you're just doing for FBM?
Yes. I don't know why you ever would. I don't. You just put the FBM on vacation. The FBA never goes on vacation because they handle all that for you.
Well, the FBM, that's what I meant.
Yeah, you can put it on vacation. You can do it right now.
I was just wondering because if you decided to go away for 2 weeks on holiday,
yeah, you just go in and click the inactive button. You can do it from your phone, and your listings just like that. They don't show up anymore. And then when you get ready to come back, you just put them active again, and they show up in 15 minutes.
Okay.
So Phil, overthinking titles and descriptions. If you're using descriptive words and keywords for these, that's fine in the title, but it's the excellent use condition, the look. I would tell you, if you've got a new item that's in new condition, you don't need the word new in the damn title. You just don't, because it'll show in the condition. It'll show in every search. So that is a new item. Some people might tell you, well, what if they just look for the one and they don't sort by new? I'm telling you, when I look for stuff, I specifically want something. I sort for new. I can't be the only one.
You talking about on Amazon or any of them?
Any of them. Well, Amazon you can't put in the title. I'm at eBay. Yeah, on eBay, I sort for new. I don't put new in the title.
I saw where Jim and Tara is having a problem getting rid of look. But I remember that. I remember all the looks, and it looked like a person looking. And
Jim, or Tara, whichever. I just saw the fur category. Amazon is going to be restricting it, fur sales to be in compliance with the new law. I'm not sure if it's vintage or not. I know new for sure. I'll do some reading. I'll figure it out and let you know next week. Yeah, it doesn't take much to do the shipping, Mr. Sadie. If you've got processes in place, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to ship for FBM in the fourth quarter, get rid of every used box except for the real skinny ones and big ones. So a couple of odd sizes. Understand. I I use tons of 10.86s and 8.64s. You know, I keep them in stock and never run out, except for today. I'm out today. They're on a FedEx truck coming this morning, but I think I'm down to like 6 of each of those boxes. I understand it's easy. Make sure you've got tape. Make sure you've got boxes. Understand what you're selling, and then shipping doesn't take long. I shipped 59 on Monday, and it took me like 2 hours 15 minutes. Didn't take long. Ron, I decided on LastPass. Trying to get it set up. It's a lot of fun. So next week we'll talk about LastPass because I'm the worst about making up passwords. All my passwords are some derivative of the same 3 or 4. So yeah, I've got it. I'm looking into spending that $3 a month to make sure that I don't lose everything and have a nightmare of a problem like a couple friends have had because somebody hacks into your passwords. So I'm gonna use LastPass. There's a couple that are very very similar, but it's gonna be LastPass. Trying to get Johnny to go to the new Buc-ee's with me today.
Go to the where?
The new Buc-ee's.
Oh,
I got a feeling I'm gonna end up going by myself.
how far away is it?
Like 40 minutes.
We'll buy her some lunch.
I don't feel like going. I don't feel. Same thing she told me yesterday. Yeah, but
like I do.
like everything's not in the iPhone.
I do like I have to do Roberta every once in a while. You need to get out of this damn house, get in the car, let's go.
So I've told people over. Somebody asked me, "Is there any Monopoly things this year?" So true story. I'm in Walmart a week ago, and I'm looking for the normal stuff I always buy. They had a special display, and I'm looking through the display, and there's some other toys in there of stuff that I normally sell. I've sold in the past. I haven't sold in a little while. But if you look at them and flip them over, they'll tell you which ones are hard to find, which I find fascinating. That the manufacturer will actually tell you which ones are hard to find. And so I'm like, okay, so this is the hardest one to find. That's the only one I want to sell. I don't care about the one that's the regular one because Amazon's going to be all in on the regular one. And sure enough, I find the one that's hard. I look at them like hard to find. I flip the one over. The one that's in my hand is the one that's hard to find. I'm like, well, damn, what are the odds of me pulling one out of a bin and looking at it and go, well, that's the one. And there's still 3 more in the bin. I'm
What
like,
kind of item is that?
I'm like, how is that hard to find? And I've got 4 of them. Okay, so I only found in the other 4 Walmarts I went to, I only found 2 more. So okay, so and they had hundreds of these things, and so I'm like, well, night for last when I'm out buying more of the stuff that I sold, and these were $11, and I sold them for $60. I sold them before I got home. They sold that fast, so there are stuff out there that you can pick up at Walmart. So I found 4 more of them Monday night when I was out buying the other stuff. I mean, these things went through Black Friday, and they're supposedly the hardest ones to find. And there are tons of resellers in this town. And I look in the bin, I go, well, I'll be damned. There's still 4 more in this bin, and I've already sold all them. There's stuff out there. I mean, that's why I say, do you know what you're selling? Do you understand? Can you read a keep a chart on Amazon to understand how much of in demand and whether Amazon comes in and what the price does when Amazon's not around?
Well, tell me and Todd what you bought, and we'll see if we can check our Texas and North Carolina to see if we can find you some.
I'm not buying anymore. There are no more here. Somebody in the chat's already told you what it was.
Oh, I can't have the chat up on my phone at the same time.
Well, then you're not gonna know. Yeah, I've got to test my drone today, Lag. Get that Phantom 3 up, and I'm gonna sell that Phantom 3 today. I tried to test it in the backyard, but it comes up and says I'm in a flight restricted area due to the airport. I'm like, Damn, I was hoping it would not figure it out, but yeah, it figured it out pretty quick.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
So Brian, this one was not that. This one was it's one called Ultra Rare. It's the new set that came out. It's the purple one with the red head. I think I've in Huntsville. So if you live in Huntsville, don't bother looking. I've been to every single Walmart, and including the one in Fayetteville, because I stopped there on the way back last Monday from the auction, and I think I ended up finding 12 tow.
I tell you what,
Alabama needed to get. I could find a ton. I could find a ton of them.
Alabama needs to get creative with their city names. You said Fayetteville. I was thinking, what the hell are you doing in North Carolina? Yesterday you were talking about Athens, and I said, oh man, he's headed to Georgia.
Well, you would think Huntsville, but Huntsville's a weird one. So there are like, how many Huntsvilles are there in this country? They're almost all in the same counties, which is even weirder.
That's like I have a Dallas that's 45 minutes to an hour away from me.
There are 8 cities in the U.S. with the name Huntsville. The 2 that you know the most are here and in Texas. Huntsville here is in Madison County. I'm almost positive it's also in Madison County in Tennessee and Texas too.
Are you still shopping a lot at Walgreens?
Yeah, I can't go by Walgreens
without stopping to see what they got. But y'all were talking about Dusty a while ago. Dusty had all kinds of crap in his store, and that's good crap, not bad crap. That's good crap. I mean, he had a little bit of everything on there. Stuff that you would never think that you would need, but there's somebody out there that needed that little screw top off of a motor oil can, or some BS like that.
But he also understood that that you needed to have slow sellers and fast sellers. You had to have items that he knew when he bought them that they would sell very quickly, but right. He also had items that he knew that he would have to wait 6-8 months, but he'd get 10 times the money. He'd get much more profit out of the one he held.
Right.
And I don't know that people really think about that when they're looking at items. There's plenty of stuff out there that's worth a lot of money. It just don't sell very fast. And if your store is completely full of that and you're waiting for the right person to come along, you're probably one of the ones that are sitting there mad at yourself because your sales suck. And 2 days later, the right people can come all at the same time. You just never know.
I think it's a mentality of you're doing this as a part-time gig for some little extra spending money, and when you got to do it for a living. I mean, like you and Bridget and Tara, y'all are all the time working on this mess. Y'all have to do it to live.
If you don't treat it like a business, it's never gonna, unless you dive deep, unless you understand it the way I understand it, and it's your full and you're trying to do it full time. You're always going to be at the mercy of the winds of change, and that's why I tell you, pay attention to politics. You don't have to like it, and you can look at it from a little bit of a view, but you need to understand everybody and their brother can see this recession coming from 2 years away. This ain't a secret. You can see the inflation for the last 2 years. This ain't a secret. None of the stuff with the economy where it is right now is a secret. With chips being short and all the pressure on, if you're selling used automobile parts, you're probably making a killing right now because people are not buying new cars because of the prices right now. They'd rather fix their old one and keep working.
Yeah, because the new ones are the used ones are just about as much as the new ones.
And the prices, we're about to the point where prices will come down. that little one has found his voice. He was quiet as a church mouse for the first week he was here, and man, that's a yappy little dog.
Well, as far as the automobiles go, Todd, I think you're wrong on that because I'm constantly getting emails and pushes to my Facebook page saying that the car dealerships are just full of cars that they can't get rid of. Don't you get those too?
Yeah, there was a question in the chat. If you are a new seller, toys for the most part are gated. But I'm telling you, if you're selling on Amazon and you can't figure out how to get ungated and you can't watch enough videos to figure this out, I mean that is one of the easiest things to do. There ain't much to getting around something.
Remember back in the dark ages when people were paying people to get them ungated? Did you do that?
No.
But they were paying people to get their store ungated and stuff.
I'm probably going to make some kind of course early next year about just a cheap one to tell people how to get ungated, just because they seem to find it very difficult to figure this stuff out.
Right.
That'll be the spring.
Another thing too is always check to see if you're ungated. That you became ungated at some point or another, because back in the time, Bridget was wanting to sell some Disney stuff on her Amazon store, and I mean we were chatting back and forth, and she said, "Well, I can't because I'm not gated," and she just happened to, I'm not ungated, and she just happened to reach over and check to see if she could sell it. And she's like, "Sometime or another, I've become ungated in this stuff."
No, and that's 100% true. And the more you sell, the more they'll allow you to sell. And some things are just simple category ungatings, and they will release the category to you. When you've got somebody that does a crazy price like that, you're just forced to wait them out. I mean, it's as long as they don't have a ton of inventory, you've got to. One of the things with Amazon you've got to be extremely careful of is if you're selling products, you need to, are you going against a liquidator? How much, there are programs out there that'll tell you, guesstimate how many they have in stock. And so as long as you're not going against somebody who's got, 800 or something, that they've got your price beat by 75%.
It also matters how much money they need to make their house payment this month, or the power bill is going to be cut off if they haven't. So they start they're not really going after what they could get for it. They're going after getting enough money to, like I said, pay their rent, their house payment, that kind of stuff. Because I was watching a guy it's been a month ago, and he just happened to come up in my YouTube feed, and he was talking about his brother, that he was buying stuff from his brother at the price he was selling it and turning around and selling it at the regular normal price because his brother needed some money to fix his car. And he had marked all his stuff in his store down to nothing.
And it happens in life. That's why we have a third dog now, because I told Joni that we weren't paying $2,500 for another dog, and she found a way to get one for $600. So that's why she has a third dog.
$600 dog.
A little discount.
That's pretty cheap nowadays.
And I figured out why they're in Jacob's room, because Phoebe can. Hey Steve, I appreciate that. I mentioned you last week. There were a little bit of negativity, and I'm like, y'all understand, Rakin does not do anything underhanded. I've met him several times. I mean, he's a solid individual who puts content out there that people need. Just because you look at something and go, I told him I was overwhelmed by his last class. It really inspired me, and it was the best thing that happened to me, Steve. I hadn't told you this in person, but running across you changed the way I think about things. And you were drunk on Fremont Street with us, and I was drinking. I was high, and just changed my whole perspective in the 10 minutes I talked to you. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate.
Is there anything that Steve hasn't done in reselling?
He's tried it all. He's
done everything.
Okay, so this is another thing that I should have added to this list. look at somebody like Steve Rankin, and you go, well, what? He's tried everything. He's tried. He'll tell you selling books. You look at somebody, he'll tell you his whole story. He's not ashamed of making bad decisions early on, where he was a few years ago, and to where he is now. It's an incredible story of success through hard work and learning how to do something and having a passion for it. And I would tell you one thing: to help others reach their goals, you will never want for a thing in your life. It's he's not, and that's the thing. You've got to be in this business. You can't be scared to try something. There's very little cost to try something, and be open to new ideas. I mean, it is absolutely amazing what you can do in this business if you bet on yourself and learn and take the time to learn and do these things. Nothing is so Harlan was the only pimp on Fremont because he absolutely. I'm not showing that picture. Go look at Harlan's mess on Instagram. that picture shows up enough on my damn phone of Harlan in his purple pimp suit. It's nothing in reselling is a secret. Nothing is hidden. You can there's information out there. The one thing I'll tell you, stopping yourself is you're not willing to do what it takes. And that's continual learning, that's trying things new, that's new platforms, that's understanding the environment. Everything I've talked about today, if you're not available to do these things, this is a business, folks. You're in competition. I mean, technically we don't sell the same thing, so it's not direct competition, but still people have options. And if you're not trying to find the competitive advantage in reselling, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, Steve, I'm going to fill it with Aura. Aura is the repricer I use. I explain to people, if you've got a little fire, my little reselling fire, and you pick a repricer, you're pouring gas on that fire. You better be ready to ship. You be ready to sell, because I'm telling you right now, the best thing in Amazon, if you don't have a repricer and you've got more than 100 items on Amazon, what the hell are you doing? The old adage, it takes money you have to spend money to make money, is 100% true. A repricer is the number one tool on Amazon. It will make you a lot of money fast. It will run you out of inventory. That's the first, when I first, the one, App Eagle was the first one I ever used, and I think they're in Form Co now. When I first used them in like 2015, I was listening to some people, and they're like, "Oh, you got to have a repricer." I'm like, "I'll try a repricer." I was amazed that I went from having inventory to, holy crap, I'm almost completely out of inventory. It's if you've never experienced a repricer, what the hell are you doing? Are you even reselling?
It's a case where you got to think of it as a business. You got to continue. You got to get those CE credits in. Turn off the damn TV or leave it on, but go over and find something that you can learn, on YouTube. Go listen to some, like come listen to some of Scott's stuff to see what he's talking about. Because people ask me, what do you sell? Where do I find stuff to sell? I said, you can sell anything, but I tell them to go look at, like your channel and Bridget's channel and used to be Dusty's channel, and tell them, look at what these people are selling. You'd be amazed.
Come here.
I bought at a thrift store, I bought a box of those screw-in fuses, the little glass screw-in fuses. I bought a box of those they had. Somebody brought into to the thrift store. And
okay, puppy. I'm supposed to get a lot of views with this and a lot of likes for the puppy. Puppy.
You need to do cute stuff with him and have his own YouTube channel.
He's on Instagram with the other one now. I reached over and grabbed him, and he moved away, but he was too busy being infatuated with Phoebe. So I moved Phoebe, and he comes right closer, and I grab him.
How is she with him? Is she good with him, or is she like is she the big sister putting him in his place?
All right, go do what you want. Whenever the older one could care less about either one of them. That's Franklin, Victoria. He's the 5-month-old. He's probably 6 by now, but
You need a couple of more.
yeah, right.
But there's so much free information on YouTube. You know,
Harlan said all this preaching today makes him feel like he's in church. Most of the time I'm very jovial. I try to have a good time. I try to make the photo fun. But this is serious business right now, folks. You get 1/4 quarter a year, and you still got time to fix it. You've still got time to change. The thrift stores have not closed. Oh, the thrift stores, the prices are so high. I can't. I'm telling you, they really haven't changed the price on books. Go find some of Steve Rakin's videos and understand how easy it is to do. Books are boring as hell. I don't do books because they're so boring. I have books that are for sale, but I'm not a bookseller. But if that's in your alley, people make a ton of money on books. You got to understand how to sell them. You got to understand that there are books that are worth money, and there are books that people are making pennies on because they're making money on. They're selling 100,000 books and making a few pennies on. And so understand that world. Right
and
now,
some people like that kind of stuff.
I just saw in Todd's picture when his hand was moving around. Were you parting that out, or were you selling that whole food processor as one thing?
I could go either way because it's complete.
So here you go. I've got a Ninja blender outside. I had a separate cup. I sold the cup for $70, the first one. And I've got a Ninja blender that's at 2 cups out there that is not sold on it. And so you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to list it all as separate parts today because the cups sell 10 times faster than these people can buy for $99, can buy the whole thing, or they will pay me $70 for each of the blender cups. I'm like, okay, they're going to pay me $70 for the blender cups. And I promise you, I'll sell one of the blender cups today.
What was the girl's name in Texas? She's kind of young. That's what she did. She parted out stuff left and right. And I'm not talking about Beth. I'm talking about
Deb.
Okay.
Deb.
Hey, Steve, hold that thought. Steve asked me, do I flip DVDs and CDs on Amazon? Hold that thought.
The engine you're hearing is his forklift picking up those cases of DVDs he's got.
I wonder what's in this box.
That was close. That was just him grunting picking up the box.
Yeah, old people, we make sounds when we get up. We make sounds when we do anything. Yeah, I don't know. And they just started coming. You just automatically do it. I don't know why. Get out of refiner.
But you're not even in your 50s yet, are you, Scott?
53.
Are you really?
What do you think, Steve?
No, those going to Amazon?
Yeah. And if you look over there in the corner, there's stacks of Blu-rays over there. Yeah, I sell a few movies. But okay, so DVDs and stuff that's another good one that Rankin will tell you about. You're not gonna get rich selling 3 or 4 DVDs. But I got somebody who didn't want to sell DVDs, and Dave tells me, I've got a whole box of DVDs. You want to sell them? I'm like, free DVDs? Okay, I'll take them. They're so easy to list. That BC Boys that cassette right there. That's right.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Rankin, Steve, that said one time. He said, "Look for." He was talking about VHS, so it's been a while. He said, "Look for off-the-wall VHS, murder slasher movies," because he said there's a pretty good chance they didn't convert them over to DVDs or Blu-rays, and the VHS go for a lot of money just because somebody decided not to do the DVDs or the Blu-rays.
Yeah, these are a bunch of used and new ones. So yeah, I'll deal with them. So okay, so I told my friend, I told Dave, Dave, if I don't run them through Amazon, I'll send them to the freaking auction.
As a lot?
Yeah, I'll send them at the auction. Do we do? I'll put 20 DVDs up there, especially Blu-rays. I'll put 20 Blu-rays up there. I'll get $35 for Blu-rays. That's no problem. You buy them at the thrift store when they're 3 for $1. I'll walk in there, don't look at the titles. I just buy every Blu-ray they've got, 30 cents each.
I just took 4. I'm trying the auction thing. I just took 4. Let's see, there was 2 drums stands and then a cymbal stand. One of the cymbal stands that you press the foot pedal and it makes it do its thing, and a bass pedal. And I took them to a auction company here just to get rid of them, and I picked them off the side of the road. They were sitting by the trash cans on junk day, and he said, "Oh, well, for that foot pedal, I know I'll get at least $50 for it." And he says, "How do you want to do it, as a lot or as individual?" I said, "You're the professional. You tell me how you want it, the way we can make the most money off of it." But like I said, I just picked them. They were sitting beside a daggum dumpster bin on trash day, and I brought them home and cleaned them up. There were probably some kids that their mom was cleaning out their house because they had enough dust on them to cause somebody with asthma to go into fits.
Yes. So Steve, the other Steve, who's normally here on Wednesday mornings, he sent me a message saying, "Hey, my brother-in-law he cleans out houses, and he's a construction guy. They're getting to clean out a house and keep everything for free." So Steve went running to go find some free inventory. They don't know what's going to be in this house. They're just going to open it up and they get whatever they want to take. They get.
Those are fun.
But you've bought a DVD from him.
Those are fun.
He sent me messages. He's like, "Steve Rankin just bought this DVD from me. I bet he's going to flip it on Amazon." I bet your ass he's going to flip it on Amazon.
You know, speaking of cleaning out, there's a lady here that's got a yard. She's a full-time, not a yard sailor, flea market person. And she has put out flyers at all the apartments around Charlotte, and we have a lot of them, saying, "Do you have, glassware, books, small appliances, all that kind of stuff that you want to get rid of? Just email me what apartment unit and what time I can pick it up, and just leave it out on your front porch." And she says that she'll fill up her Dodge minivan at least once a week, just picking up people's junk that they don't want to have to walk.
Did you,
Todd, 100
did you find my old cassettes? Is that looks like my cassette case from the 80s? I had that Van Halen. I had Bon Jovi. I had Def Leppard. I had the Beastie Boys. I had most of that stack in my I didn't have Madonna because I didn't go that far crazy. But
did you have long hair when you were young, Scott?
No,
I did. Rock on.
Scott might be like this guy I went to high school with. I think at 17, his receding hairline was back to about the top of his skull. And he was 17 years old.
How many DVDs do I pick up at yard sales when we're going?
A lot.
Stupid amounts. And they're just everywhere. And people look at them and go, "There's no value in those." I'm like, "Yep, there's no value in those. Let me have them."
Are you just buying new ones or whatever?
It depends. I generally buy just the new ones, but there's money in used ones too. Depends. You can look at them. So it's the same thing. If they're oddball, if they're BBC, if they're far, if they're when you get good at looking at things, you can look at them and have a good guess. Not always right, but but it's when you look at them and go, "I'll take all the new ones," and then anything that's you don't want the normal stuff unless it's crazy popular. So there was a point that if you found used Top Gun here when Top Gun was out, that there was a spike in time where that one was worth a lot of money, and now it's back down to being worth nothing. But so if you're keeping up with stuff,
Was it Las Vegas where we came across that yard sale that had all the Blu-rays and they were all Disney? There was 12 or 15 of them, something like that.
yeah.
If I find that stuff, I always just say, Scott, there's your.
I think I got 15. I got 15 new Disney Blu-rays at that one for $1 a piece.
Yeah.
You worry about them being knockoffs?
Nah, very rare. You can look at them. Most of the knockoffs don't have the seals that will fold the corners,
Right.
and little things. And so as long as it's folding like that, it's. But there's so much to this game that you've got to learn. And so that's when somebody is telling you, "Oh my God, my sales are terrible." That's my first question. Is I start asking them all these questions. Do you do this? Do you do this? Do you do this? Do you do this? How do you do this? Do you have systems in place? Do you understand what you're looking at? It's amazing, how many people just look at it, and think the same thing your neighbor thinks. Your neighbor thinks, oh, they just throw stuff on eBay. I don't know how they make any money. And then you've got that new seller that comes in and goes, well, I just got to throw it up on eBay, and I don't know why it's not selling. There's way more to this stuff.
I've heard so many people talk about, I'm not having any sales. I'm not, not making any money, blah, blah, blah. And then I hear you talking about you're doing a lot of sales. Bridget's doing a lot of sales. Tara and Jim hasn't gone back to wearing his gold Century 21 jacket selling real estate. So they must be doing good. And they're supporting themselves off of it.
The only thing that holds me back is me.
I think
I don't think people are honest enough with themselves to realize that the vast majority of time, if things are not going good in their business, So what did I tell you on a video a few weeks ago? I told you I'm done. That was the name of the video. I am done. I realized how much time, man. You're talking about the king there. I think I'm gonna listen to some George Strait today. Harlan, you listen to some George Strait today?
Probably.
I was spending a lot of time reading. I can't tell you how much time I was spending and wasting reading about politics and keeping up with all that crazy crap that had no bearing on my life whatsoever. The time that I have gained back and been able to do more things because I'm not distracted. I'm partially angry, but I'm not nearly as angry as I was. From the feeling of helplessness, nothing they're going to do is going to change. I got to get on with supporting my life and my family. So, and accomplish my goals, and getting me to where I want to be.
What the Kardashians is doing is not important. Turn off the TV.
Oh my God! But yeah, after the first weekend in January, I'm actually finally gonna ditch cable for good.
Are you?
Yeah, I got to watch one more Alabama football game, then I'm out. That's what
Tom doesn't lag. I will say that right now. Bridget bitches at me all the time because I'm not listening. But you young people like Harlan and younger, y'all have plenty of energy. Y'all can get out there and kill this thing because y'all can get by on 4 hours of sleep a night.
Okay, well, Tom, I give you a pass.
Me being 30,
I was in my 50s. You didn't know I was in my 50s.
Right.
Young.
He's 52. He's only a year younger than me.
Oh, I thought Harlan was young. I thought he was down in his 30s.
Those are lies. What are you saying?
Tom's been smoking the funny weed.
But seriously, you young people that can get by with 4 hours of sleep at night, y'all should be killing this business because y'all have the energy. You don't have me and Todd and Scott. We're old. We start running out of energy about 9 o'clock at night. Y'all are just getting cranked up.
Damn right.
Somebody will mention it. I bet it happened 100 times at the yard sales. Somebody says something to Harlan, he'll go, "Oh heck no, I'm 52." I'm like, I'll look at him and go, "Damn, you're old." And he'll look at the person whoever's at the yard sale, he'll go, "He's older than me."
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Saturday, I change over from pawpaw age to great pawpaw age.
What age is that?
I'll be 65 on Saturday.
Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
See,
Medicare.
Beth, reseller, rowboat. She's going from daughter age to granddaughter age. She's moving down a bracket because I'm moving up. But I'm serious. The ones with the energy should be just murdering this thing. The old people.
So if you've stuck with me this long and you're not a member of the crazy chat, and you're just listening, I hope you understand that this cold dose of reality, because I took this Wednesday, I dedicated to you, someone who is struggling with sales, because sometimes you need a cold dose of reality. You don't need me laughing and making jokes and talking about whatever. You need ideas. Listen to this podcast. Listen to everything I said again. Replay it without the video or whatever, and just listen to all the ideas. I hope you're making notes, because the one thing I would tell you, I've always told you, is why you make videos? It's because I feel blessed to do this for a living. I feel blessed after 30 years or 25 years in fast food management to not have a boss, except for the one in there sleeping. She don't count anymore. That it can be fixed. We have an offer. So
Where's your microphone at, Scott?
right here. Is it too loud, too quiet?
There, that sounds better there. Sounds like you were off in the distance just a little bit.
Because I want you to have the same success I have. I want you to understand that it's within your power if you learn this stuff and understand, and don't take if I've had a bad week, and that's the key to it, folks. Don't let yourself have a bad month. If you've had a slow sales week, figure it out in the freaking week. Don't wait to go, well, I'm going to see what happens. If you don't change anything and you go, well, I'm going to wait to the end of the month to find out what happens. I can tell you what's going to happen. If you had a bad week, chances are you're going to have a bad freaking month because you didn't change anything. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting the same different results. That's 100% true in my life. It's always been true. And I'm not the best one. I will screw that up as well. So we got an offer on the eBay item. I got it listed for $119 plus 8 shipping, and they want to give me $75 for it.
What is it?
It's called a Tascam DP08 digital 8-track pocket.
And it's listed for how much?
120.
Yard sale?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
It sells from. There's none on Amazon. I thought about putting it on Amazon. Let's see. I really wanted $90 for it. Should I? All right, we're gonna review the offer. And it's got to go to Idaho too. Man, the hell with that. We're off. We'll see if they'll take it for 90. If they can have it if they want it for 90. So here's a good one. So I asked the guys last night at Wing Night. If you're in Huntsville, you can join us for Wing Night on Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. at Tailgaters. It's just me and Tracy and Harlan. I had a customer. I'm selling a DVD. It's kind of weird that Steve comes in talking DVDs, and this is a DVD. The person sends me a message saying that they don't understand why I charge them shipping, that they've got Prime and they specifically order from Prime and they expect their shipping to be refunded immediately. That was a Merchantfield DVD, you knucklehead, even though you live in Alaska. And I charge a surcharge to ship stuff to Alaska. It was like $12. It was kind of excess. But, whether it's a DVD or whether it's something else, Alaska, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, right? So what would you do? Now he wants to give me 80. So what would you do? Would you cancel the order because they're going to be a pain in the ass, or would you ship it out and hope they just accept the shipping?
Is it a new one? A new?
Yeah, it's new. I canceled that bitch. Don't if I've done this long enough to know if they're a problem before I even send it out, they're gonna be a problem. They're gonna be a pain in my ass. I cancel the order. On Amazon, you're allowed to cancel 3%. So if every 100 items you ship, you can cancel 3. And since I've already shipped 70 something this week, I've got 2 that I can cancel. So yep, Charlie Brown red flags. That's exactly what I thought. I canceled and relisted.
So, you're talking about a lot of people not having good sales and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people just list whatever. And, when you look at something, if you're listing something and you're going to sell it, the first thing you do is kind of get an idea of what it sells for. But the biggest part you need to do is you got to look at that sales through rate. That sell through rate is huge. If you look up something and say, oh, this sells for $25 on average, that's not bad. I've got $1 in it. There's been 20 that sold over the past 3 months. You got to click over and look at what's currently listed also. I did that the other day, and it's like there's 200 listed. I'm out.
Okay, so
I'm not even wasting my time.
So that's another one. I've limited myself on TikTok as well. I only do TikTok now after 9 p.m. or I try to. I'm not great at it yet. But I see so many of these reseller TikTok makers, everybody who's brand new to reselling has decided that they are God's gift to reselling. I saw this person who I told you, he said that he knew this product was going to be great because it have a 500% sell-through rate. I'm going to look at it and think, you are a giant dumbass. That means for every one you buy, you sell 5. Or yeah. I'm like, how does this have a 500%? Understand your numbers. That's another thing. How do I know whether I can accept that offer or not if I don't know, that thing, whether it has a good or bad sell-through rate, how many are available? No, there are currently none on Amazon, and that one, there's like 3 on eBay. So he's only got 3 to choose from, and mine's the only one with a box. I've got the box. I've got everything with it. It's brand new 100%. And he said that, Victoria, he said that 500% with a straight face. And I started typing out a comment. I'm like, I deleted that. I'm like, man, if this is the kind of person that's an expert at reselling on TikTok and that's what he's telling people, the hell with that. I deleted the comment and deleted him. 5% sell-through rate.
It's been a few months ago, but I sold this DVD to this lady down in Mississippi, and she opened a return case on it because it was not what I described, and it had not even been delivered yet. So I contacted eBay and I said, this woman's wanting to return it because it was not what I described. And I said, according to the Postal Service, it's not even been delivered yet. It's still in like Alabama. So
it's a damn good place there.
They told the woman if she wanted to return it, she had to ship it back to them. She had to pay to ship it back to me. Once it arrived, they could ship it back to me.
So here's the other thing I forgot last night, Harlan. The difference between Alabama and Auburn. Alabama, and I guess it was around 2003, Alabama has a football coach. New football coach named Mike Price. They got him out of Washington State. And old boy goes on vacation down in Pensacola, Florida. There are pictures of him coming out of a strip club. Alabama fires his ass before he ever coached the first game. And we scrambled around and got Mike Shula as the coach, and he was the coach before Saban. So here is Auburn's coach, who got caught using the University of Mississippi cell phone to order prostitutes. I think he used some credit cards and stuff that were in that line as well. Auburn and their last coach last year. This if y'all don't live in Alabama, you probably didn't follow it. They tried to run their coach out this summer because he was having an extramarital affair, and now they just hired the guy who has 5 kids and was caught with prostitutes from Mississippi as their coach.
Now, who is that?
Hugh Freeze. Oh my!
No, I mean who? Which school?
Auburn.
Auburn.
Oh,
And have you seen the picture of them up on the press conference, Harlan?
no.
No,
That is the most miserable looking family up there. They are like, oh my God, I can't believe we're up here. Wife looks like she's mad as hell. All the kids look like they're in a damn daze. I'm like,
yeah, ESPN gave him hell yesterday about hiring him.
How old were the kids?
they look like they're from like 14 to 20. They're not
Oh.
terribly old.
So their friends are giving them hell.
They're old enough that all their friends know Daddy got caught hiring prostitutes,
Yeah, right. And they
Daddy
know what a
got fired.
prostitute is.
and Daddy got fired for hiring prostitutes. They old enough.
But that was a long time ago, wasn't it? How was that? 10 years ago?
I
When
don't
was
think
that?
it was that long ago.
So
Is
kids-
Harlan I don't know this, so I'm not trying to be funny. Is Harlan a Alabama or Auburn fan?
Alabama?
Okay.
My kids go to Alabama. Well, one graduated there and one's about to graduate.
He resigned in 2017, so that ain't that long ago. 5 years.
That was from Ole Miss?
Yes, July 20th, 2017.
Oh, shoot.
He resigned after Ole Miss found a pattern of personal misconduct. Yeah, it's
We didn't have any tornadoes around here. There was some in Mississippi, but nothing in Alabama that I know of.
yeah. So Harlan is the Alabama guy. Both kids Alabama. His brother was the Auburn. Kevin was
Yeah,
the
my
Auburn
brother
guy. Went to Auburn.
which was when Alabama and Auburn plays, we always, you go back and forth and stuff. And yeah, I missed that this year. He's been gone 10 months now. 10 months. It don't seem real.
A buddy of mine went to University of South Carolina, and his wife went to Clemson. And I'm like, how the hell did y'all ever get together? Because those two, that's probably like Auburn and Alabama. Those are they don't happen. You're not supposed to be dating somebody of the other school.
Yes, Troy does have a football team, and they're actually in the championship for whatever division they're in.
What's a
What
Troy?
division? Is it Division 3?
Troy University.
Oh. Is that like
They're in
that like-
South Alabama.
Is that like Ball State or one of them little small schools?
They're pretty large. Got a
Who are they
bunch.
playing? Didn't y'all say last night that they are playing somebody for?
Yeah, they're in the chain. Is it Gulf Coast Conference? Is that right?
There's a high school here.
It's the one that it's the Sun Belt.
Sun Belt. There we go.
They're in the championship game of the Sun Belt. They've won 9 in a row. They're currently 10-2.
There's a high school here in South Carolina that have the student body that would be like a 1A, maybe a 2A size school. And they're playing in the 3 and 4A bracket because their boys are a bunch of farm boys. Between the band and the cheerleaders and the football team that just about takes up the whole student body, their boys are so big that they were just wiping these, these 1A, 2A classes out. So they figured they better move them on up.
Charlie Brown, Ohio State's so their coach he's a good coach. He's not a great coach. At some point, they're going to have to decide. If you look at the stats from the last 2 games with Ohio State and Michigan, Jim Harbaugh has opened a can and run down y'all's throat. Ohio State has no answer. They ran for 200 some yards without their Heisman candidate running back. That's ridiculous. Ohio State is soft. They are soft.
They stuck him at number 5 too. Did you see that? They put USC
Yeah,
at 4.
I don't agree with that, but I'm kind of biased though, I guess.
I agree with you, Carol. People pay $100,000 to go to a university and feel like they've done them a big favor. They forget about paying that $100,000 to go there.
Oh, it's not y'all, it's Hook'em Horns. I got you.
I even know that the difference between Auburn and Alabama just because of hanging out with Scott. I thought Auburn was the name of the university in Alabama. I've never been one to keep up with college sports, even though North Carolina is a college sports team. Back when they were trying to raise the money to build the Panther Stadium way back yonder. It was kind of dodgy there for a while. If it wasn't for all the people from Tennessee and South Carolina and Virginia helping buying PSAs in it, I don't know whether it would have went through or not, but because people were saying, why do we need a pro team? We've got Chapel Hill and we got Duke. And I'm like, who cares? It's just more tax money being spent. And they're wanting another $100 million to redo some VIP suites.
Yes, absolutely. So hopefully with this, there's enough ideas if you'll understand, and I admit the same thing. If I'm struggling, it's something I'm doing. If I'm struggling, it's generally something I've missed. Something I can't tell you how mad I was whenever on the phone. And you got to have these friends, folks. I'm on the phone with Dave for hours as usual. And if you don't know Dave, he's on the show. But if I get on the phone with him, it's a 3 or 4 hour phone call, just about nothing. And we were comparing sales, and he's like, when's the last time you checked the repricer? I'm like, before I went to Vegas. That might be a problem because it was like 8 weeks later. I'm like, crap. And it's amazing that I'd sent a bunch of stuff in before Vegas, and it should have sold, and it didn't. And imagine that. You stick the repricer on Amazon, and some of your problems immediately go away. What does Harlan do with the microscope? Oh, Lord. He is an electronics technician, so he is testing digital boards. And so if one of them is bad, he needs a microscope to figure out what is wrong with the board.
Is he at the office or is he at home?
He's at the office.
I'm at the office.
Because them glasses he's wearing ain't strong enough for him to see a damn computer circuit board.
No. Now this is the kind of stuff that I work on. These computer boards. There's the back of one right there. That's one of the boards that I work on.
Okay, if there's a break in something in any of the circuits or any of the whatever that silver stuff's called.
Solder.
Solder break.
Ships, shorts, opens. I mean, a lot of stuff.
So are you working on I'm gonna use the word rare because you can't walk and buy it off of a shelf at Best Buy or whatnot.
Yeah, these are boards that our engineers develop, and we have them built here in town. And then we come in and we test them, and if they're broke, then I troubleshoot them and fix them.
So Victoria wants to know if you can fix an iPhone screen.
No, I don't do phones.
But I was cleaning up my attic, and I found my first computer. It was a compact Presario 486DX.
Hey, we had one of those. Thought ours was a DX50. We thought we were just top of the world.
Oh, we were 66, and it had Windows
95. Yep.
Yeah. No, this one had the original Windows.
Oh, it had DOS 3.1, DOS 3. Whatever.
Yeah, and it had a whopping 100 megabyte hard drive and It had one.
Probably one
Me-
mega RAM.
do I?
You probably have one mega RAM. What
Yeah,
you do with it?
it's still in my attic.
Oh yeah, you might want to look and see what it's worth. You'd be shocked.
It's we used AOL to dial up.
Oh yeah, you probably still had like 10 of those discs.
No, I've sold them all on eBay. People will buy them damn things. I sold one to that computer gaming museum in Dallas, and but you,
Hey, there
I think we paid $2,800 for that daggum thing.
there are some of them on there. People want a couple $100 for those machines. Let's see if they've sold any of them. Yep, somebody sold one for $199 plus 51 shipping. A 486 DX266 with this one had 12 megabytes of RAM and 500 megabyte hard drive.
You couldn't even get Windows to load with that. And like I said, that sucker was $2,800. I was telling a friend of mine about it. He's kind of young. He's younger than I, and he's like, "And Roberta let you spend that kind of money?" I said, "She wanted it too." That was before kids. He said, if I had $2,800, if Renee said you've got $2,800 to spend on a gaming computer, you can buy whatever you want as long as it don't cost over $2,800. He said, I would have about 50 people in the chat helping me spend that money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, those older ones, because there's people that play games and stuff, and there's only certain programs that only run on those older machines.
Yeah.
And, there's a market for those older machines for sure.
Yeah, a friend of mine down in Camden has a machine shop, and two of his lathes run off of machines that are just DOS based.
Yep.
And and if I run across one, I let him know, because the software he can spawn the software to different machines because it's so old. But if he was to update it to run on a new computer, it would cost him almost $2 million for two machines. So he just keeps buying he keeps buying people's crap and keeps making money with it.
So this is funny. So the computer is a brick now. If you just spent the $2,800 on Apple stock, it was 16 cents at the close of 1996. So where's my calculator? How many shares is that? All right, calculator.
See, I was back in that time at work. We had Windows machines because we were running AutoCAD and a couple of land surveying programs that would run on Windows. Nothing ran on Apple at that time.
So you would have got 17,500 shares of Apple stock. What's the current?
It's probably split so many damn times since then.
It's currently $141, but there's no telling how many splits.
Yeah. Google it. How many times has Apple stock split?
Even without the splits, you'd have $2.4 million. Roberta, y'all made the wrong decision. I know you're sitting there.
No, she's out in the sunroom. I'm in the bedroom. She's been on conference calls all morning bitching out people that have.
So it split. Like I said, it split 5 times. So you'd have 2.4 million before splits, and it split 5 times. Holy crap! Well, you wouldn't even be talking to us. You'd have your people talk to us.
Well, I have some land at the Myrtle Beach that's worth more than that, so I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, I bet with the 5 splits, I bet that's $10 or $15 million of the stock.
Yeah, but just imagine all the capital gains you'd pay on that damn thing, Or
Okay, that's a good problem to have.
yeah, well, that's just it. People are always bitching about taxes. If you're making so much money that you're worried about taxes, then
That's a good problem.
you need to really rethink your priorities, because if I could make enough money and I had to pay $1 million worth of taxes, because that means I made a lot of damn money.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess
Well,
that's the simplistic way to think about it. But that's what I've always thought about, how I've always thought it. Todd, he don't even talk about taxes. If he needs some money, he just goes out there in the backyard and cuts on that oil well and pumps out a barrel or two and takes care of what he's got to do. Because Todd, you just got around paying this year's taxes, didn't you?
See, that's so.
Yeah, October.
Jacob in the chat, Scan to Freedom. Here's the truth: if you make enough money like that and complain about taxes, then you got the wrong accountant.
Yeah.
Because they can fix that problem.
Yeah. Or they would be saying, dude, you made $30 million. You got to pay $1 million. That's a pretty good ratio there, I mean, you're keeping $30 million and you got to pay $1 million in taxes. I'll take that.
All right, I'm going to make breakfast now. Hope everyone.
It's time for lunch.
So Clifton Rose, what are you talking about? There's an app wig out. Every time I go back to use the seller app on this iPhone, it blinks and blinks and blinks and blinks. I have to swipe it off and then reopen it. Is that what you mean? It is for all the money that Amazon is. You think they'd be smarter with this stuff, but I guess not. Look at what I'll just talk about this live before I go. Did anybody see the amount of money that they're killing Alexa? Do you see how much money they've lost with Alexa? $10 billion.
I don't have any of that garbage in my house. I don't want them listening to me.
Yeah, you just let them do it with your phone.
Yeah. Why are they having problems with Alexa? Real quick, like
just normal people have not adopted it, so it's been a huge waste of money and for what they've invested in it. It's because it just, other than turn the light off here or there, people don't use it for. And Siri's the same way. Apple. That's the one thing I could tell you, coming from a Galaxy phone to this. Google Assistant is 10 times better than Siri ever thought of being.
I've never really wanted an Apple phone, but Bridget posted some pictures of them on vacation, and there's buildings are lit up, and you can see the stars in the sky with that thing.
Yeah, the new Galaxies are the same way. Harlan's got an S22 Ultra that does. The biggest difference in the phones is the iPhone has a better camera, so it'll take a better video camera. So they take still pictures about the same, except the zoom functions on the Galaxy are much better.
Are they?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you go have lunch. Breakfast, brunch. Actually, it's brunch, but.
And just in case you need something for Halloween, sexfind.xyz has a link for you for a new dating site. Maybe is that some of your friends, Harlan?
Did you say Halloween?
It says sexfind.xyz. Is that some of your friends?
What? You on Pornhub again? What are you looking at?
It was in the chat. I've already deleted it. The side chat they came in.
What's the matter? Harlan going to save that address and check it out later?
Yeah. If Harlan gets a
Maybe
virus,
it was me that put the address in there.
All right.
Bye.
Roll Tide.